Oh, and I did send off to Sarah, I believe, at the county correctional facility. I sent her off my.
Oh, good. So you got that message. Yeah, you saw my.
Yeah, I sent it off today.
Oh.
You know, I sent it by email, so I couldn't, I couldn't figure out how to put a signature in there, but I don't figure that's the critical part. You know, the license number and all that other stuff's in what they're looking for. So. And Jim and I have been there and done that before, so they must throw those things away.
I guess I didn't know that I had indicated an interest in doing that, but I will if you need people. I've done it before.
I thought you did.
I know you thought I did, but I don't think I did.
You see how I am? You see how I am? I'm just a bad person.
Hey, more the merrier, actually. It doesn't hurt to have backup.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because I think at one time they wanted to limit the number of people that had access. That was maybe a couple of years ago, but maybe they've changed that.
Well, the Sarah, I believe, is new. That name hasn't, come
I
up,
don't recognize the name either.
So, how many years ago was it, Jim, that we were in there visiting that young man that was having trouble? I can't think of his name right now. Do you remember?
Yeah, we both visited him upstairs. He moved,
a couple of times, yeah, and
yeah,
talked to his mom.
Away. Yeah, he moved away, and I communicated a short while with his mother after he left, but since then I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a little concerned.
How many years ago was that?
2 or 3, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe longer. I don't know. Time flies. Eddie,
it certainly seems to be.
Yeah.
Eddie's panicking now.
No, far. I never panic. What are you saying? Never. Let's see.
I've been hearing that some commissions and organizations are starting to have their hybrid meetings again,
Yep.
where they.
We're actually doing that with the Rotary.
That's going to be a challenge for the commission. I'm not 100% sure that the room that we've always met in before is going to continue to be available. They made.
Really?
Well, they reduced the capacity for one thing. Not that that's always a problem, but when you have an important issue, it sometimes is, and they've reduced it for ADA compliance. They've eliminated some of the table space and eliminated some of the chairs. So when we get to that point, we're going to have to consider what our options are.
Yeah. Huh.
Because for grand jury, we can't even use it right now.
Wow.
But we happen to be doing all Zoom, but that we were hoping that was going to end pretty soon.
Right. And then they haven't addressed that issue with it in terms of the grand jury. Oh, boy.
Believe me, I've tried it with the court.
Yeah.
I've tried it with the CAO. They're talking now about maybe moving us to the Veterans Memorial Building. Because they know they have kind of a responsibility to provide us with a space.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be a space of our choosing.
Well, but logistically, you know, the courthouse is such a central place.
Yeah. I don't know how that might affect Human Rights Commission, except
Have you talked with any of the supervisors about it?
not with the supervisors, no. I've talked to the CAO about it.
Well, I know, but you know, his boss is the supervisors. And
Yeah,
if he's not being,
I'm not, that might be the other way. Might be
I'm
the
just
other way
suggesting,
around,
you
you never know.
yeah, well,
Anyway, they're working on it. I hope they'll come up with
yeah.
something.
What I'm wondering if there's any up there. I'm trying to think of a different room.
In that building, there isn't one anymore. The 5th floor used to have a big open space. That's all been divided up into offices. And then any other spaces in the building are too small. Now, if we knew that the old cafeteria was going to be left empty, which it is right now, that would be a workable space, but somebody's probably going to want to reopen that cafeteria at some point. Hey, Eddie, do you think that this number of people we have is due to the mix up on the Zoom link?
I think it does.
Yeah,
You want to call Dave Haney and ask him what's up?
do you have his phone number?
Of course you're going to ask me. Let me see. You don't know everything?
No, I don't. I hate to admit it.
Let's see.
I saw him earlier on looking at the agenda.
Uh-huh.
He's in Arcata?
No. Contact. And we don't want to be that guy. We want to be this guy.
Here it is, 707-616-2667.
Okay, I'll give him a call right now.
Six 616-2667. My smartphone right here. It's called paper in my wallet. Yeah, I beat him to the number.
Sometimes I impress myself. I think I found how to do it.
Yeah, we're in showtime right now.
Yeah, we are. Okay. There we go. Because if we don't have a quorum, we don't have a quorum, correct?
Right. But I think there's people trying to get in.
I suspect you
I
are
can't
right.
imagine.
Okay, I told you we had a problem.
Yes, you did.
That was David. He's going to notify the other people that are in the other meeting to join this meeting.
Okay, perfect.
So it should just take a minute or two, I hope.
All right.
But I think you will have a quorum, although it looks like it's a small quorum.
I wonder why that is. mean, this was an important meeting. Wasn't this a nomination or election of officers?
Yeah,
Yes.
election.
And we have a small quorum.
I know, that's
Yeah.
not, that's
That
not
doesn't
good.
look good. There you go. There we go. Boom.
Hi, Carpani.
Hey, that went smoothly.
Yes.
Well, we had two different meetings going at the same time.
I know, but it was just great to click on it and get moved, and yeah, no muss, no fuss. It was great.
Very good.
Oh, okay. That's what I was trying to do.
I can't imagine Bird not being here.
Yes.
That is very unusual.
I
Good
think he was
job.
just coming into that other meeting.
Oh, was she? So
Yeah, I
she'll be
think so, yeah.
redirected. Yeah, there's Guy. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, nice to
Good
be
evening.
in two meetings at once. What can I?
Uh-huh.
That's called multitasking.
Yeah, oh, okay, is that what it is? Okay, I wondered why I was all by myself for a while.
Aw.
We were testing you.
Yeah, right. I'm afraid of the dark, so come on.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so let's see. Hopefully Bird will get on here in a second. And then David said he'd wait until make sure anybody else came to the other link.
I'm not sure why we are going through this. I mean, what happened?
Apparently,
Well,
it's-
If you look on the agenda, it's got a different link than what I was supplied with for my calendar invite. So some people went one place and some people went another.
I think it was just a minor snafu.
Yes.
How about the public access?
That's
Well,
what I'm
is that
working
gonna be-
on.
apparently you're the public access one.
Well, that would be Facebook primarily. Well, Carpani's public. So she made it that far. Just said,
But, yeah, we definitely had some kind of snafu here.
David may have to maintain a presence at the other
There we go.
Zoom link to make sure that he can transfer anybody else over that arrives late.
Yeah.
Because, the
There's Bird.
Hi, Bird.
And there's Mary. Yeah. Okay.
So it's because the link was wrong. I was on another one and then I was told to get on this one. So
Yep, this is
there you go. You're good. You're
Hi,
good.
everyone.
David.
Yahoo.
Howdy.
Look at that.
David, can I ask
Hi,
you a
Tommy
question?
Ray.
David, are you maintaining a presence on the other link too?
I am not.
I think
Well, let me
maybe
do
we
it.
should in case anybody else wants to join us that isn't with us right now.
I don't know if you can do that. That's
I
hard to
don't-
be on two links.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you could reduce the size of the screen and do, well, maybe not.
I don't, it would make me leave this meeting.
Oh, that
I
won't
have
work.
2 computers right here. I could always log into the other one again and just have it sitting here if you make me host.
That,
And just put a message on it,
that would
Okay.
probably help,
Yeah,
Mary.
hold on, let me try that. Give me a second. I just had all my pens explode. Okay, let me pull out my other school computer. Give me a second.
Here, Marianne, if you want me to handle it, I can try to handle it here. Because what
Yeah,
I can
'cause I
do
could
is
do-
do it from
'cause
my
you can run it,
phone.
You can run,
There you go. That's smart. That's
Yeah.
smart.
because I do it from 2 computers. Otherwise, I have two different computers for school. Be right back. Hi, honey.
Lisa, I finally got here. Sorry, I'm
Hey, Lisa.
driving.
Good to see you.
Hey there. Hey there. And I still have work to do on that thing. I've been like juggling a million things here, trying to get all my stuff done.
I can,
So I'm a little behind.
I can totally understand that. I can understand that. But it's important stuff. Important stuff.
Or
This is the Human Rights Commission.
really did.
Oh, give me a second. Hold on, let me pause. Let me mute this.
Quorum.
All right. So we are going to start a little late here.
All right, Eddie, if we're ready to start, I can go ahead and mark the time here. I'm gonna continue to try to log back into that meeting to
Fair
make sure
enough.
that we're
But
available.
I will start recording now. That way we are legit and record to this computer. There we go. Everybody, we're recording. Be mindful. Okay. So we want to go. I'm all. Let me put that there.
If you want, Eddie, I can start with the roll call.
Yes, yeah, I'm just organizing myself. So yes, let's officially, Mr. Secretary, could you please call to order? Calling the roll, could you do the roll call, please?
That sounds good. I've got a call to order at 5:08 p.m. I'm going to start the roll call. I'm going to go by name and Commissioner Lochte.
Here.
Commissioner Larson is she has an excused absence. She had let me know that she was going to be unavailable tonight. Commissioner Miller.
Yeah,
Thank you, Larry.
I'm here.
Thank you, Larry. Commissioner Aronoff.
You're right here.
Thank you. Commissioner Lyons.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Sundberg.
Here,
Thank you. Commissioner Davies, absent. Commissioner Haney's present. Commissioner Morgan,
Present.
thank you. Commissioner Rowe. She is not on this list, and I know that she was on the other one, so I'm going to try to see if I can get her to make sure that she sees the email with the correct link so she can get into this meeting here. Commissioner Glover.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Perkins.
Yep.
Is Dotso here?
No, not yet.
No, I did not see her.
Oh, I thought I heard it. Yep, sorry.
No.
Okay. All right. And Commissioner Harper. Okay. All right.
Does that conclude the roll call?
That does conclude the roll call.
Stop it.
Thank you, sir. The next item on the agenda is the approval agenda adjustments. Are there any adjustments that we want to do to our agenda? Going once here, anybody want to speak up? All right, going once, going twice, no. Up, did I hear somebody? Lisa, that was you? No, all right. So let's go ahead for the approval of the minutes. We have 5 minutes for that.
Wait.
And we, Lisa, we're kind of hearing you.
let me take a look. Hold on. Comment right now. So I'm
All
gonna
right.
go. So let me get to my location. That's why I was gonna call in late, but I decided to call in. So if I don't want to hold anything up either. So I'll be at my location here in about 2 minutes. But
All right, I think road safety
go ahead.
should come in first.
yeah. So if you could read the agenda off, that'd be helpful.
Okay, so on our agenda, and Mr. Secretary, if I make any mistakes, please tell me so. We had the call to order, the roll call that we did. We had agenda adjustments. And then the next thing was approval of the minutes. April 1st and May 6th are the regular minutes that we need to approve that. Next is the treasurer's report. And then we have guests, which we don't, oh yeah. We have guests or presenters, and we're going to talk about monitoring the EPD texting issue. I don't think we have any guests from that, so we'll be talking to that. And then we'll have public comments for 15 minutes. And then after that, we have commissioners' communications, which I think we have a little bit, not too many, emails and phone calls, which is the same thing. Then we will go on the message line report, and we will decide who is the future scheduled for the message line for October 5th, one for the 15th and 16th to 31st. Then we have a correctional facility liaison report, standing committee reports. We have sanctuary, ordinance, and then the other ad hoc committee, we have the racism and cultural awareness. After that, homeless committee. And then we have unfinished business, which is the considered approval of meeting opening statement and land acknowledgement. And that's something we're going to vote on. And then we have further consideration of human rights survey and cannabis inquiry. Under new business, we have Mr. Commissioner Arnoff has posted, wants to talk about SB 364 concerning school meals. And then we have adjournment. Did I miss anything, Mr. Secretary? All right. Does that work for you, Lisa, Commissioner Sundberg?
You didn't say that we were going to vote on new commission officers under unfinished business.
Did I just jump over that first?
Yes, you did.
Holy cow. And that was like top on my mind. I am sorry.
Well, it's there.
It's
Yes,
there.
we'll get to it. Commissioner.
It's there.
What-
You just didn't read it as you were telling
That's all.
me.
Yeah.
Okay, standing committee, ad hoc committee report. What item? What number is it?
It's under
Unfinished business.
Oh,
It's
unfinished.
there.
Oh, yeah, consider approval. Yes, I did. Sorry, but I jumped over it. You're 100% right. Sorry about that. So under
Can we post this agenda?
under
Can we post this agenda on this meeting
yes, we can. Let me do it.
format?
Yes, we can.
Wouldn't that help?
Yes.
Maybe?
Give me a second here. And Meg, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, this is a question about access. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes, we can.
so
Great.
I'm finding it very difficult to actually get the agendas, and then when I finally get to the agendas and download them, and I want to look at the minutes that you all are going to approve, it says that I don't have access and I have to request access. And, you know, you can't find the Human Rights Commission on the Humboldt County webpage. You have to go to a separate place. And just in the name of transparency, I would respectfully request that these things be made somewhat easier to access and to attend.
Bird, you have your hand up, and Mr. Glover has their hand up.
Yep.
Lisa, can we finish? Lisa, I read all the items, and so we're
Right.
agenda adjustments. Sorry for skipping that one item. That was not intentional.
Yeah.
And
So the only comment I had is specific, and I don't know where it would be, where it could be interjected, but one of the calls I did answer, I did mention something to you in the email, Eddie, but it was from somebody who was an activist on the homelessness in our community, talking about the fact that evictions are going to start happening in July because of I guess it's whatever the government did with COVID to stop people from being allowed to evict people. And since that's going to be lifted, I don't know if it's changed since that call came in, but once the evictions start happening, the homeless population is going to increase.
so Commissioner Sundberg, do you want to discuss that item when we get to the homeless committee? I'd love to add that to that discussion.
Yeah, I just didn't know where to add that, so
Okay,
I
we'll
would
add
like
that
to
to
add
that
that.
part.
Okay, all right, great. And
Mr.
then
Glover.
and
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, Commissioner Sumberg.
Oh, yeah, the only thing is I cannot be on the call for like the next until 6 o'clock.
Okay,
So I'm gonna have to jump off the call and because I have a family issue I gotta go handle right now. But I'll be back.
does anybody
So
have, oh, because we can bump that up or we can wait for you. Should we just move that to the bottom or move it to the top?
If you could make it so I can participate in it at 6 would be great.
At 6?
Oh, it's 5. Yeah, it's
5:18.
5:40.
Okay, we will bring that topic up at 6 o'clock. Mr. Glover.
Okay, great.
You have your hand up.
Well, I was just going to say, at the rate we're going, it'll be 6 o'clock before we
Yes,
get
it
there
will be.
anyway.
It will be, okay.
But I did want, Bird had her hand up. I can't see her right now since we're sharing the screen.
Oh, go
But
ahead,
I'll-
Jim.
Well,
You-
I don't know
you-
if you're going to say what I was going to say, but
You-
not to get us further off track, but to Meg's point, the Human Rights Commission agendas and minutes are posted in the same place where all the other county organizations are posted, which is on humboldtgov.org. And you find the Human Rights Commission, the Planning Commission, any number of other organizations all listed in the same place.
I did that today and it the search for Human Rights Commission came back.
You have to look under boards and committees.
Okay, I'll try. I will try.
Okay.
And sorry.
It's definitely there.
Okay,
Sorry to take up time. How about the issue of the previous meeting and not being able to look at those?
It's all that information is in the same webpage for the Human Rights Commission.
But you can't access it.
okay. And I know the entire meeting is also recorded on our YouTube and it's on our Facebook. So those are located there. But you know what we need to do? Mary, you have your hand up.
Could we have the secretary look for that and post exactly where that website is in our chat box so that Megan Carpani could copy that that link and save it for future reference? Are you able to do that, David? Thank you. I think that will alleviate some problems. And quite honestly, I've tried to access previous minutes and had to ask for permission as well. So we've got to open that up to the public and not have it be that you have to email back and ask for permission. So it's not just you guys, it's me too. So, and then I just click on it and ask for permission. There's just some setting that needs to be modified. And that will be something that I'm sure that we can look into and fix before next month, you guys.
Well, really quickly though, too, I want to add one thing that should be clear for the public is that minutes that are not approved are not accessible. And so that may be what people are coming up against when they see an agenda that has a link to our internal unapproved minutes. They will not be able to access those until we finally approve them. And then those get sent to the clerk of the county and then they post them on the website that Jim's talking about.
Thank you for that clarification.
That issue. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm losing a little control over the meeting here, but that's okay. Carpani, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just on this access situation, I went to access the draft land acknowledgement and wasn't because I just wanted to read it and I was denied access.
Yes.
Okay. I think the secretary brought a great point where when something is, because we want to speak as one voice to the public, and unless we have something that is agreed by the commission, then we're not one voice. And I think that's what we're running into until we all approve it. Is that correct, Mr. Secretary? Are we on the same wavelength there?
That is correct.
Thank you, sir. All right. So talking about minutes, can we approve the minutes for April 1st? Yes, but Bird locked you. I'm sorry. Bird.
And I move the adoption of the draft minutes for April 1st.
I second it.
Fair enough. Do we have to vote on that? Is correct.
Yes.
Can we call the vote, Mr. Secretary?
No, you have
Yes.
to call for discussion first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any discussion? Thank you, Bird.
don't believe Bert is not making any corrections.
I already sent those to the draft. And David said that he had included them.
Yes.
Oh, great, okay.
All right. I am not seeing any discussion on the matter. If it's okay with the group, we will move to a vote on the matter. Okay, I don't see any disagreement. I'm seeing all shaking heads. All right. Can we make a vote, Mr. Secretary?
Yes. So I'm going to start the roll call on the vote. Commissioner Lochte,
Yes,
Commissioner Miller,
Yes,
Commissioner Aronoff,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyons,
Yes.
Commissioner Sundberg,
She's off right now.
oh, thank you. Commissioner Morgan,
Yes.
Commissioner Glover,
Yes.
and I'm voting yes. And that is the list of commissioners that are in on the meeting currently.
Very good.
Motion to approve the April 1st and May 6th
No.
meeting minutes.
no,
We didn't do that.
I only said April 1st.
Yes, that is
April 1st.
good catch, Bird.
Thank you, Bird. Okay, that motion passes to approve April 1st minutes.
Mr. Glover, you have your hand up.
I move we approve the minutes of the May 6th meeting.
Do we have a second?
I will second, but I have a question
Please ask the question.
for the secretary. Were you able to fix everything that I put in as edits?
Yes, I was, and thank you, Bird.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Shall I start the roll call?
Well, we have to open it
Discussion.
for discussion. Are there anybody that wants to discuss the item? Bird?
I already had
Nope,
my question.
Oh, all right. We are, okay, I don't see any shaking heads, so let's move to the roll call for the vote.
Commissioner Lochte,
Yes,
Commissioner Miller,
yes,
Commissioner Aronoff,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyons,
Yep.
Commissioner Morgan,
Yes,
Commissioner Glover,
Yes.
and motion passes. These minutes have been approved.
good job. Thank you very much. Okay, our next report is the treasurer's report. Commissioner Lyon, take it away from there.
No changes since last month. So everything's just the same.
Okay.
Still waiting on signatures, but now that we're voting on a new slate of officers, we will hold off on those signatures until we know where we stand.
Did you get the bill for the?
I got it yesterday, yes. And in discussion with that real quick, so Eddie, is that the one that somehow it's not? So I was able to figure out the one. Is this the one that's still in your name somehow?
I think so. Yes, this is the, because there's the face. Yeah, this is the one that's in my name still. I thought you had changed that.
I did too. So but I did see you sent it to me yesterday, and I will look into it and find out what's going on, and maybe you and I can meet over that.
Okay, don't get me in trouble with my wife, please.
Yeah. Is it the first time you've gotten a bill again? That's why I was surprised to see it.
No, I've got another one the month before, I'm pretty sure. So let's look into it and have some good information before we.
Okay,
waste the
great. So we'll
board's-
do that outside of the meeting. Thank
Okay,
you,
but
Eddie.
did get it. You did get it. You'll look into it.
I got the
okay.
email yesterday.
Yeah, because basically when I get an email from those people, I just forward it to you. That's all I do. All right. So that's any questions for the treasurer? Going once, going twice? No? Okay. The next thing is, I don't see that we have any guests or presentations, do we? Yes, Mr. Glover.
Well, you don't have a person here, but we have some information.
Okay, good. Thank you. Mr. Glover, would you like to present that information?
Oh, sure. This was addressed to both you and to me. This is an update from Chief Watson, who regretted that he couldn't be with us this time because he's traveling.
And
I
this
won't
is
read the whole letter,
okay, good.
but it does mention the EPD Century 21 training policies, which he has shared with the commission. And he basically just says that the investigation has been progressing for approximately 2 months, and the third-party investigator has already interviewed several witnesses. The department anticipates the investigation will continue for at least another 2 months. Sergeant Rodrigo Reina Sanchez and Officer Mark Mefta remain off duty on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. The rest of the letter goes on to talk about the Century 21 policing plan for this the Eureka Police Department. And that's essentially what he wrote. There's more to it, but it's all about the brochures that he sent.
Okay. If it's okay with the group, yes, Mary? You're not muted.
You are muted.
I mean, you are muted.
Sorry about that. Is there a PDF that we can read the whole letter? The rest of
It was addressed to the Human Rights Commission. I just happened to get a copy of it.
Okay.
So-
You want me to put it up? I mean, I suppose if we did
When
get
was it sent? That's interesting. Because if it's sent to one, it doesn't make it to all of us sometimes. It has to be shared out.
He's copying me because I've been able to stay in touch with him.
Okay.
But he's sending it to the Human Rights Commission as well, hhr@co.humboldt.ca.us.
Yeah, but
Okay.
we don't all have access to that. So that
No,
would have to be.
The chair does, however.
Yes, and so that's my bad. When did he
No
send
worries.
that?
What?
When did he send that letter?
Well, it's
Yeah.
dated June 2nd.
Okay, June 2nd. All right.
That was yesterday.
Yes, that was yesterday. So I missed it. I was, so would the group like, what I can do is I can share that with the secretary and share it to all. Would that suffice for the group for this time? But
Yep.
Mary is 100% right. When I get something, I should share it immediately, but that was sent yesterday. I just didn't get to it. Does that work?
Yes.
Mr. Secretary, you will be receiving that letter right after this meeting. If it's in my mailbox, which I believe it probably is. Do we want to have a discussion? Do we feel that that this investigation is going the way we want? Do we feel that the concerns of the people are being addressed? And are there any comments? Yes, Mr. Glover.
Well, the only comment I have is that now a third officer has been sidelined, at least temporarily. I think their supervisor, I'm not sure, but I think the supervisor for the 2 officers mentioned, I think has also been sidetracked for the time being.
Okay. Commissioner Lyons, you have your hand up?
I do. If we don't have it as business for next month, could we add it to the agenda next month so that we have time to review the letter? Because I can't really ask questions or voice concerns until I kind of know the context of, and we might have more information, and the captain may be able to speak next month anyway.
Mr. Secretary, can you make that happen?
Do we have a spot already on the agenda for it? If we don't, could we add it to?
No, it's been a standard item on the agenda for the last couple of months, and it would be next month too.
My understanding is what Commissioner Lyons wanted was just to review the methodology. So look at the letter. That's basically what we're saying. So
Yeah, and then that's, I'm saying, I don't have anything to say until I look at the letter. So if it's on the agenda next month, cool.
fair enough. Any other comments?
Just that we keep
Yes.
it on our agenda as it says here, monitoring, which is what we're doing. We
Yep.
are watching it, and then when there is some kind of report, we'll know and we can discuss that.
Sounds very good. Any further discussion we want to have on the matter? Okay, with that said, I feel comfortable moving to our next item, which is public comment. We have two people from the public here. Do you wish to say anything to the group? Oops.
Meg, I see
Meg?
Meg's hand up.
Okay, Meg, I'm sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulty here. Meg, go for it.
Thank you. Okay, I guess the first thing I would like to mention and request that the Human Rights Commission begin, if they're not already, monitoring the situation in which the Board of Supervisors, for all intents and purposes, seems to have an agenda to oversee and maybe overrule an elected official's work in a way that is quite disturbing and upsetting, specifically Karen Paz Dominguez. There's been a lot in the news and there's been a lot of controversy around this. The bottom line for a person such as myself trying to view this on the outside is that a woman leader of color is being put through some hoops that other people don't seem to be needing to go through. And then periodically you get something in addition, like, well, the payroll that is supposed to have been done by ADP, one of the largest payroll companies in the world, was unable to actually perform their duties as negotiated at the cost of like $275,000 because the permutations and the ins and outs of the Humboldt County Payroll Department, auditor, commissioner, et cetera, is so convoluted that they couldn't follow it and they couldn't do it. So another $275,000 is we're out as taxpayers when they purportedly could not find the money to fund positions that, at least for 5 years, I am aware that there's been oversight saying the auditor controller does not have what he or she, and in this case, she needs. And it's, in respect for witches, I'm not going to use the words witch hunt, except for that is exactly what it appears to be. And it is just really disturbing. And I hope that the Human Rights Commission is overseeing both the human rights and then the supposed democratic process.
Meg, you have 30 seconds.
Overseeing the democratic process of what's going on with Karen Paz Domingo and the Auditor Controller's Office. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Any discussion with the commissioners?
Sure.
Go ahead. Commissioner Lyons and then Mr. Glover, or Commissioner Glover.
I would like to, I would hope that Karen would bring her issues forward to us herself. I know Karen, and I know that she stepped into a very difficult position that had, and it's been difficult for her since she acquired the position the whole time. So I don't want to, Erin, you found us. We're so excited. Yay. So I'm just going to say that without it, it's a lot. And I thank you very much, Meg, for voicing and being a community advocate for Karen. But I think that Karen is in a difficult position, and I think that I'm really not sure what we can do here for her, but I know that there's folks on the commission who might have some suggestions because I see some intelligent hands raised.
There you go.
Thank
So
you, but thank you for advocating for her.
Commissioner Glover and then Commissioner Lochte.
Just a reminder to the chair and to all the participants, public comment is public comment that stands alone and does not generate an immediate discussion.
And that is what I was going to say, although a commissioner could ask to have that agenda as an
Yes.
agenda item, which Mary Ann could do, but without any other discussion.
Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm ready to have it be an agenda item yet. I think that I would want more information before.
Okay,
that.
so we'll move
Thank
forward
you.
with that. Thank you. That. Are there any other comments from the public? Yes, Bernd.
Yeah, I just need to say that I'm totally aware of this as well. And I concur with everything that Meg said. I don't know, I can't expound on details as well as Meg did, but from the very beginning of this, it's been my feeling that Karen has had to work in a hostile environment, that she's been pursued by the board for whatever reasons. I don't know, but it's fishy. It doesn't seem right to me. I have to go with that. It's a strong part of the way I look at things is what it feels like, and it doesn't feel right to me. So I need to voice that. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much for that comment. With that said, are there any, yes, Commissioner Haney.
I just want to say thank you to Meg and Carpani for joining us and for getting your views out there on this subject. I am prepared and ready to bring this up as an agenda item for the next meeting. And so I think that,
Thank you.
yes, I think that I believe I'm okay to add that to new business for the next meeting. Is that correct, Chair?
That is correct. I appreciate if the secretary would make that happen.
Thank you, sir. And thank you again to Megan Carpani.
Can I jump in?
Yes.
How will this be structured in terms of what will we be looking at? Will we be having some folks coming in to speak to the issue? What exactly will we be doing in terms of addressing the issue? Do we know? I mean, it's, on the agenda, who's going to speak to that?
Commissioner Lyons has her hand up.
Thank you for bringing that up, Larry. That was part of my confusion with bringing it forward. I would feel like I would like to see Karen come and speak during public comment and share what is, and I know that she can do that. I know Karen, and I would like to see that. So maybe the agenda item would be to have Karen comes. That was the reason I didn't bring it forward as an agenda item, because I wasn't sure what our place was in that, because it's she's duly elected. She's an elected official. So I'm not sure where we stand in that. And I'm not sure, I'm a little confused too, Larry, although I do agree that what is happening with Karen is, in my personal opinion, fairly egregious.
Okay, Mr. Glover.
I'm sorry to be such a stickler, but there is a place for what we're discussing at the end of the agenda, and we're not following the agenda very properly.
Thank you for that correction. So let's move ahead, but I think we have agreed to put that on the agenda. We have agreed. Okay, and then we'll talk about that later on. Are there any other public comments? Okay, with that said, our next is a commissioner's communications. How are we doing with that?
The only item we had that I know of was the communication from Chief Watson.
All right, I got a message, but I don't know if I want to deal with that exactly at this point. But we will, it has to do with Lelania's request, but we will get to that, so I'm not avoiding that. Mr. Secretary, are there any email, phone calls or anything that we have? I know that kind of intermingles with the commission's communication. Maybe we should just put those as one item.
Okay, absolutely. I mean, we're at that block right now of those two items. So, you know,
Yeah.
Commissioner communications and then the email, regular mail and phone calls. So,
Do we have any? No. All right. We will move forward. The next item on our agenda is our message line report. And it's my understanding that we need to fill the October slots. We have 2 October, one from the 15th and one from the 16th to 31st. Is that correct, Mr. Secretary? Do you want to see if you can find any volunteers for that?
I'll volunteer for this first segment.
Thank you, Larry. We'll put him in there. And anybody else? And the minute I am not the guy that goes and does the visits, I will also volunteer, but not at this time.
it's looking like the last one I would have been doing will be July before October. So I can do the end of October, no problem.
Thank you, sir. Okay. There any objections to that? I don't see any, so we will move forward. The next item is the correctional facility liaison. Yep, Mr. Glover.
How about message line reports before we get to that one?
Yes. Did I thought I was under that correctional facility liaison report?
No, the item number 10 is message line reports, which
Oh,
isn't
yes.
just about filling the next vacancy,
That is
but about
correct. That is 100% correct. So thank you for that. I think we might need some training or something like that. We had a little mishap with the person that was I think they've been very busy. And so I'm volunteering that, and Mr. Glover, you might want to help me here. Mr. Glover, do you mind being the backup when somebody can't step in? And how long should we wait? I really would like to have the board's opinion of how long we want to wait before we put somebody else in. Go ahead, Mr. Glover.
well, I think we have a basic breakdown taking place on our follow through. Anybody know how many calls we have on the message line right now?
I do.
You do? How many?
Well, we have 5.
No, we have 14
Holy cow.
plus the one saved message that's been on there since the 1st of May. There's 14. Now, granted, some of them are repeats, but there's one as recently as today was number 14. I don't, if people are trying to reach out to us for help, even if we can't help them, we need to be able to steer them in the direction of somebody that can. And I think we're failing that very badly.
Who can I jump in here? I personally, I take that responsibility very seriously, and I can't imagine, who's dropping the ball. Why are there 14 messages there? Does anybody know?
Lyons?
Well,
I think at this point, the most productive thing to do is not to finger point, but I will
Well-
volunteer to clear those 14 messages and we can move forward with the rest of the month, and whoever is June 1st. I have no problem clearing those messages. I'll go in tonight and write them down and clear them. And I know how to do it on the form. So let's just do that. And moving forward, I think one of the great things that we used to do is whoever was ending their time would contact the next person by a phone call, not an email, and say, hey, your time's coming up. So I think if we go back to being, I do think that COVID and not being able to see each other in person, I think that sometimes we have a disjunction in communication. So I will go and clear those 14 messages tonight. And who is on the phone line as of the 1st? Who's our June 1st?
Carol Larson.
Carol.
Okay, and if Carol's not available, do we have anybody who can do the next 2 weeks? I think that's where we're really at. I just can't because it's my last 2 weeks of teaching, or I would offer to do it.
Mr. Glover, you had your hand up and there's a little comment I would like to also comment on. Go ahead, Mr. Glover.
Well, I was just going to, before Mary made the point of who's on now, I think 3 or 4 of the new messages that are waiting for a response have been since the 1st of June. So we've got 2 different months now with the same problem.
I'll go in and clear those out, and then we'll just start fresh.
I will take part because, you know, I made that site that we have that tells me exactly how many people, you know, if you fill out the form, when's the last time somebody called? And the last time somebody called was the 14th of the last month. And so that's disconcerting. And my question is, how many days do we wait until somebody hasn't called that we should activate it? Because I felt that last meeting, I got a little pushback when we asked we should call every day. So how many days, like, let's say I'm the person's in charge and I don't answer the phone in X amount of days, when should we go ahead and give that to a backup person? I think that's the question I'd like to have on the floor, if that makes sense. Mr. Glover.
I think if we're going to volunteer to do a 2-week stint on the phones, we should be prepared to call in once a day. That's not a big ask of anybody. You could make it fit your routine, whether that's in the morning or the evening. Once a day isn't it? That's not asking too much, and they wouldn't build up like this.
Larry?
I don't have a smartphone, so come to the, go to the computer. So it's a little bit, problematic. But again,
But you always do it.
It seemed to me we're responsible adults, and we've taken on this a task of being human rights commissioners. That it seems to me that we shouldn't have to be putting something like that in place. What was the breakdown? Did somebody not I mean, it does happen. People forget over, and and again, I can speak to this because I've been on on the commission so long, that we have had problems like this in the past where somebody had just forgotten, dropped the ball. It was it's not unheard of, but again, I think this, maybe once a week anyway, or maybe you're right. I mean, I'll bite the bullet and call in every day. Again, if that's the consensus that everybody wants to abide by, again, but it just kind of, we get critical phone calls, folks.
And I want to state for the record that the person that was in charge was communicated to several times. And I'm not trying to point fingers or anything like that. And so we need to kind of have we need to have our rules of, how many days do we go without that? We move to the other one. Commissioner Lyons.
I think that, again, I do remember, in times past, before all the confusion in the last year, I was always got a friendly phone call or a text or an email saying, hey, I'm done tomorrow and you're picking up the mantle, right? And so that I knew that they kind of had my back by telling me. And I think that if we're able to make that phone call and somebody could say, oh my God, I can't do it, something's come up. I think honest human communication will make a difference. And I don't know if we should have like a message line appointee, but I just really think that I feel like the next time I'm supposed to do it is July 1st. I normally put it on my calendar, but normally I would have the next person, the person who ended June would, the day before say, hey, I've cleared the line, we're ready to go. I don't know where the breakdown has been. Maybe there's maybe some folks feel the process of putting it on the forums is too convoluted, but I don't think so, but maybe it's, and I just think that part of it is a breakdown because we don't see each other in person anymore. So I'm not going to spend my time casting fault and blame. I think maybe Carol is just, I mean, she's not here tonight. Maybe something's up. Maybe she's on a trip. I don't know. So my goal, I think.
For the record, Carol's only been on the call for 3 days.
Right.
So-
And so something must be coming up. And so I think it would behoove one of us to call Carol and say, hey, is everything
It
cool?
isn't
Do you want me
Carol.
to take over your 2 weeks? Huh?
I don't think, it's not so much Carol. She just happens to have inherited a backlog of calls, but there have been a couple since she took over too.
But the fact is that both parties have, I do not want to blame Carol because Carol has answered emails saying, hey, I will do, right? But the other parties also said, hey, we got it, but they got busy or something happened. You know, we're all humans. And so I'm bringing it back to the question, how many days do we wait until we transfer that task to somebody else? That
I
is the
don't think
question
we
I'm
wait.
asking.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I don't think we wait any days. I think we hold that person a task and reach out to them. And I don't know whose job that should be. Is it the secretary's job? Is it the board president, commission president's job? I don't know, but who should be checking the numbers to see what's up? I do really believe that if we just simply say, hey, David, it's May 31st. I'm done today. Are you ready to start tomorrow? Boom. I think that puts that reminder back on them. I think open, honest communication is just going to avoid the problem because we haven't had that problem really very much in the past. And I think distance, being virtual, not being present, it's really, these are some of the things that have happened that I find in other arenas, not just here at the Human Rights Commission.
Because
So
If I was to just interject really quickly, I agree with Mary Ann. And I think that in terms of the open, honest communication, it actually has to come from the person that's got the task, that's finding out that they're unable to complete the task. Then they have to then let somebody else know that they need some support, which all of us here are more than happy to give and provide. If somebody's not able to do the phone line 1 month, and if it's like 2 days in and I got to take it the next 13 days, I have no, it's easy work, but like Larry said, we get critical calls. And so it has to be handled. And so I agree.
go ahead, Mary.
and I agree with you as well, David, but I think that, again, I think that if you let me know when you're ending your journey, your 2 weeks, hey, I'm passing you the baton. It's kind of it becomes more of a team effort because that person, I might not realize I'm in the middle of my daughter having a baby or so there's been a crisis and I might not even think about, oh my God, it's the 3rd of the month. I totally forgot. But if you had let me know May 31st, hey, it's going to be your day tomorrow, I could be like, holy crap, it's my day tomorrow. I can't do it. And then we can send out an email to the whole commission and say, so I think that it's a team effort. I think that instead of, personally, I'd like to try that approach first, that the person who's ending their 2 weeks,
That's standard.
just check out the list and say to the next person, hey, I'm done tomorrow. You know, I don't
Bird,
know.
you
Everyone
have your
else.
hand up. You're muted, Bird. Bird, you're muted.
Sorry. Could we just add to all the instructions of how to get on there, these things that we want done, that you check every day, that if you have a call, you put it on the list, you know, you get on the computer and add it. And when your day is over, you call the person who's next in line. And if we write it down and everybody has it, keep it with all of your things for making those phone calls. We are all adults and we should be able to do this without having to talk about it for 45 minutes at a meeting.
Bird, I agree
Amen.
with you 100%, but you know, Mr. Glover brought up a point that there's 15 messages. I know that a lot of communication had occurred and people did agree, but I still, as chair, I want there to be a day, you know, is it 5 days? How many days do we wait? Or should we just leave it for the secretary to make that decision if there's something is not answered? I'd feel totally comfortable with that. Go ahead, Mary.
Can I address Mary's
You're asking
question?
How many,
Yes.
yes, Aaron, but you're asking how many days we would wait, but who's going to be the one who monitors that?
That's right. That's right.
I've been
That's what I
monitoring.
want.
I've been monitoring as the chair, and I've been communicating with the people. So yes, I've been monitoring. And that's why I can tell you exactly how many days it's been that we have not filled out the forms.
May I respond to Mary? I'm hearing you say many, many times that you think it's important to make a phone call and that the critical link in the communication is that the person has to hand the baton over. I hear you. I want you to know that that's already the process.
Yeah, it
Do you
is.
hear that? Mary, do you know that?
I have not had anybody hand the baton over in quite a while. And I do believe it used to be the process. I used to always, back in a year ago, yes. I think
I want to
think we've
assure
got a
you
lot
that
of new
I want to
commissioners.
assure you that it occurred here. I want to assure you that it occurred here.
Oh, I
according to the
believe you.
process.
I believe you
Yes.
personally. Absolutely. And I just think we've got new commissioners and maybe.
Aaron, you're muted. No. And
Sorry,
Aaron, Diane, not only did Aaron call, but she even sent an email. I saw that. So yes.
With follow-ups to everybody, yeah.
Because you're a rock star, Aaron.
No, I'm not. But I want to assure you that that process is already in place. You don't have to fix that communication. That's already in place. But I think we should maybe one day, unless we're going to spend the rest of the night here, maybe we should get back to Eddie's question.
The question is, how many days do we wait until there's not a change, a response? Because I check it daily. That's part of my routine. I have my coffee. I look at, it takes me 2 seconds to look, and I see, and then after how many days should I communicate to whom? And I'm willing to take whatever the committee wants to say. I think I should be the job of the chair to check it.
Okay.
Hey, this is not happening, and I'd like to maybe tell the secretary or something. In the past, I've just written to the person directly, hey, what's happened? Or I've given them a call. Like, why haven't you answered? So I'd like to know how many days.
Guy had his hand up.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Larry.
Eddie, how, when you're starting to hear, or you're starting on your daily check-in that, it's not being answered now, how many days do you wait before you call that commissioner and ask him what's up?
48 hours.
What's up?
48 hours. 2 days.
So were you able to get a hold of the commissioner that was on the phone line that created these 14?
I was a little frustrated because their phone line was full, so you couldn't leave a message. And so I contacted them via Facebook, and then I got into the email after talking to Mr. Glover. And then finally we got to texting. And then when Mr. Glover told me it was 14, I was totally embarrassed because I was tracking it at 5. Yes, Mr. Glover.
My point here isn't to embarrass anybody, but I wasn't asked to monitor the phones.
No,
but
we were.
I have an interest in it, so I have been. And I've been following this since about the middle of May. And frankly, I'm not sure that anybody else would have known about it if I hadn't checked on it.
Okay, I would disagree with you, Mr. Glover, because I kind of knew about it before you called me, but you added confirmation to the whole thing. So,
Eddie, it sounds like the answer to your question is 48 hours. It sounds like you answered your own question that it's 48 hours. Is that what we're going to keep in place? And
all right. So what I'll do, so should I email the person and I'll CC the secretary? And if we don't get a response, can we have, like, Mr. Glover, I want to throw you under the bus and have you be the volunteer, or maybe somebody else to take over until we find somebody else? Does that work for the group?
I'm fine with volunteering to help in that regard.
Okay.
I as well. So.
All right. So that's what we'll do. So you'll get an email. Hey, nothing's happened 40 hours. Contact it. If it doesn't happen after 3 days, then Mr. Glover will take in charge, or whoever, Mr. Secretary, I'll leave this up to your discretion. I would recommend Mr. Glover, but if you want to pick somebody else, that's totally up to you.
Yeah, it'll
Okay.
probably be me or Jim, but that's fine. Yep. Thanks, Eddie.
Perfect. Okay. Did we beat this item to death yet, or do we want to continue
Yes.
talking about it? Okay, yes. So, all right. Holy cow. And of course, there we go. The next item on the agenda. Why is that doing to me? I'm sorry, I'm having little technical issues here. Come on, there we go. All right. May I move to the Correctional Facility Liaison Report? Yes, Mary, you have your hand up.
I want to be clear. I will clear the 14 messages, but if we have somebody who's not checking the message line now, and it's been over 48 hours, do we have somebody to volunteer to finish out the 2 weeks if they can't? Because we're in that moment now, actually.
Okay,
Jim, you can finish out the 2 weeks and I will clear the 14 messages. Sound good?
If the current person doesn't show some activity by tomorrow, I'll take over if you wish.
because
All right.
I think part of the problem, it's unfair to a new commissioner to give them 14 messages, because that person, it will be the first time they've done it. So let's take that in consideration. So, Mr. Glover, are you gonna look into
I'm going to
this?
clear the messages out tonight.
All right,
Except for the
We're
ones
done with the meeting.
are you going to do all of the ones except for June, or are you going to do all of them?
I'm going to do all of them until today.
and
I'll
you'll
sit
put
down
that,
and listen to them and take notes. No
and you'll
problem.
put them on that form, so that way we know it's done.
All of the above. Yep.
Fair enough. Okay, thank you very much.
Just to get us back on track. Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Can I move? Yes, Larry.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Murray, it's oftentimes not that easy to just, go through 14. Some of them may need some kind of follow-up and somebody to do that. So I'm saying that if that's the case, you could, throw some of them my way. I'd be happy to help out.
Thank you,
Okay.
Larry. Teamwork. I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
All right, I think that's good. All right. I am moving to the next item, Correctional Facility Liaison Report. As of the last report I received, there were 2 people that wanted to have a visit at the correctional facility. One, and I'm not going to name their names because we're in public here. One of the people is no longer in the correctional facility, and the other one, I went to the correctional facility and went to meet with that person. And then when I was there, the person decided that they did not want to meet anymore. So that is what I have to report. So I don't know where I want to take it from there. Are there any recommendations or any thoughts on that report? So,
You did what you had to do. You did what we are supposed to do, and that's touch base and find out what's going on.
all right.
Yeah.
Aaron?
I'm wondering what the mental health facilities are like.
I didn't hear what
Health
you said.
services might be available. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Aaron, speak up. I think we're having a hard time hearing you.
I'm wondering what mental health services are available. Did you hear that?
Yes?
Oh, okay. In the jail, I mean, okay.
I think you brought up a good point, because when I was sitting there by myself in the correctional facility, and the person wasn't showing up, those kind of questions kind of came. It's like, how do I verify that this is really what's happening, or what's going on here? And so that's why I thought I'd bring it up to the commission to see if they had any thoughts on the matter. Yes, Larry.
Eddie,
Yes.
you should always go with somebody else. Should be 2 commissioners. Absolutely important that
Yeah.
we have some,
No, I agree with that. That's why we sent that paper out, so we can have more people.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mary. At the time, the very last time when we got permission to go be liaisons, they only allowed 1 man and 1 woman at the time. So have they started allowing more, Jim? Do you remember that? They only allowed us to have 2. It was 1 man and 1 woman. So I'm the female and Eddie was the male. Did something change so that we can have 2 people go together now?
I'm assuming something has changed, because it used to be limited just exactly the way you're saying it was.
Exactly. 1 woman, 1 female liaison and 1 male liaison. I don't know if did they change that?
Can I
Mike,
speak?
go ahead, Larry. Go ahead, Larry.
There's a new person in that we're communicating with that is new, hasn't been there before, and I'm thinking that she's doesn't seem to have any problem with 4 people being certified, whatever, to do the jail visitations. So I'm assuming that, and again, when in the past, Jim and I have gone together and made jail visits. I'm not sure. And in the normal visit, I'm pretty sure the normal visitors can have more than one person when they come to visit an inmate. So anyway, I think more is better, and maybe Eddie, you could clarify that with the new person.
I had a discussion with Officer Sarah, and basically what I told her is that we only want 2 people to show up, but in order to have redundancy and backup, we should have more people that are allowed to do it. And so I think I think things have changed. So I think that's why we're getting the okay to get more people. So we're only allowed to have 2 people go there at a time, but we can have more than 2 people on the books to be able to go in.
Well, yeah, like Jim and I have been, at least I volunteered, and I have submitted to Sarah my, statistics or whatever, my application.
Okay.
Jim, have you done that, or are you going to be doing that?
I haven't made a decision on that yet.
Okay.
I may.
It's it's generally not that of a big of a burden in terms of the number of times you have to deal with it, but it is potentially very critical.
Right.
Okay. Any other stuff that we want to talk about this particular topic? I think everything has gone silent. We're going to move to the next one, which is our sanctuary ordinance. Mr. Haney, unless you've done anything, I don't think we've moved forward on that. So I would skip that item. Is that, you agree with that? I got a thumbs up. Yes, Mr. Glover.
Well, if we're not going to take any action, the expiration date for this committee is 6:30. Are we going to extend it again?
We're talking about the sanctuary ordinance standing committee.
Excuse
Jim?
me, if that's the case, I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, nothing to report on that. Is there anything that the commission wants from the sanctuary ordinance? I think the last place we stood is we were going to have a meeting between Mr. Haney, myself, and the sheriff to kind of update what the process would be. And if I'm making things up, Mr. Secretary, please tell me so. But
No, that sounds correct.
that's where we're at. It's just we haven't done things in that area. Yes, Megan. I'm sorry, Mr. Secretary first, and then Megan.
No, I chimed in after Meg had her hand up. Go ahead, Meg.
Hey, just if it's appropriate in terms of commenting or questioning, I do have concerns that have come to my attention via the my membership in the Legal Redress Committee of the NAACP, that the substation, particularly of the sheriff's office in McKinleyville and perhaps in other places, the officers on duty, the deputies, are informing people that they can't take action on certain items like homeless persons being on somebody's property due to the sanctuary ordinance. This has come to my attention at least 4 times in the past year. And I don't know if the sheriff knows this, but I would hope that the Human Rights Commission in their meeting with the sheriff would clarify and when I first heard this, I went right to Eric Kirk, to get clarification from him, who was the, the author of the sanctuary provision, and he absolutely said that that is not the case. That is not what they're supposed to be saying. There is no validity to that. And 3 more times after that, and not just through the NAACP, but other things that I'm involved in, 3 more times after, this has come up. And I have absolutely no doubt that there's not 4 members of the community contacting me to tell me nonsensical things, that this is absolutely happening. And I want the Human Rights Commission to let him know, and to make sure that there's some training, because there are vulnerable people being accused of things that they just don't need to be accused of, and it puts them at risk. And that if there's nothing else that the Human Rights Commission is to stand for, it's to help reduce the risk of vulnerable populations. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. With that said, do any commissioners want to add that to an agenda item or have a comment?
Can I
Larry?
speak? Well, I think Eddie and David are planning a meeting with the sheriff about the sanctuary. I would hope that Meg's information could be passed on, and that I would hope that maybe this meeting is going to occur before our next meeting, so it can be part of the agenda. I'm assuming it could be under the law enforcement, maybe jail. Anyway, that sounds like a very critical bit of misinformation at the very least, and possibly more than that. So anyway, that's my comment.
Bird, you have your hand up.
The sanctuary ordinance is a standing committee and should be on our agenda always, with the notation discussion, possible action. That covers it all. We don't have to have another agenda item. It is there.
Good. Yeah. Good.
Thank you for that, Bird. Mr. Glover.
Are you guys going to meet? Are you planning to meet before
Yes.
our next meeting?
Yes, Mr. Secretary, let's go ahead. Let's set something up before the next meeting where we meet with Sheriff Hansel and discuss that, unless you have some other ideas how you'd like to handle that.
No, that sounds great, Eddie. The only other thing that I was going to bring up earlier was that it would be great to have another commissioner on this committee, considering there's only 2 right now. And so I'm just putting that out there.
I like that idea a lot. I think that's a very good, and there's only 2 people, there should be 3. Do we have any people that might be interested in that? Commissioner Arnoff, that sounds like something that would be pretty interesting to do for somebody that's been in for a while. Not that I'm trying to throw anybody. Oh, Mr. Glover, you have your hand up and I'm not paying attention to you. Sorry about that.
Well, I don't want to take away from Guy, but I would volunteer to serve on that committee, and I have a question after that.
All right.
So if Guy doesn't want to do it, I will do it.
Okay, Guy, you let him off. Okay.
Okay.
Because we want to get the newer members more involved. But go ahead, Mr. Glover. Go ahead. What's your question?
I'm a new member.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
My question is this: don't we have 2 standing committees? And if we do, only one is listed here. We have the Human Trafficking Standing Committee,
Yes.
from my recollection.
And that should be there too, because it is a standing committee.
Right.
All right. That's okay. We had nothing to report, so we didn't put it on. That's my bad. I think the secretary and I discussed and looked at with assistance from Mr. Glover. So I don't know how we want to do that in the future if we had nothing to report on it.
What? I'm getting credit and blame for things I had no part of.
Mr. Secretary.
Yeah, I mean, I apologize for omitting that. It wasn't in the agenda, and so then I just copy the draft for the minutes from the agenda, and so it wasn't in the minutes that I'm currently working on also. But I'll make sure that it's in all the agendas and minutes moving forward. We cannot forget standing committees.
So Bird, correct me if I'm wrong. We always have the standing committees on the agenda. We just say no comment or nothing to report at that moment.
Yes, I think that's a really good idea, because since they are standing committees, we don't ever want to forget them. Something might come up the day before the meeting that we need to address because it is a standing committee.
Got it. All right. It's a learning process. Thank you. All right. I think we're doing very good here. And our next committee, ad hoc committee, is Racism and Culture Awareness. Mr. Haney, Commissioner Haney, excuse me. You're the head on that with Desiree Sundberg and Larson.
Yes, and thank you. Unfortunately, in the last month, I've had some personal things going on, and I was unable to facilitate a meeting of the committee. But this committee, and including members of the committee, are keeping an eye on the process that is happening in the community to declare racism a public health crisis. And so, I hope at the next meeting to have some more to report on that, and hopefully the group in the community that is making that work happen has some progress to report at that time.
Thank you very much. Any comments from the public until we move to the next topic? Yes, Mr. Glover.
Having heard the report, I would like to move that we extend the expiration date of this committee to December 31st, 2021.
Very nice. Anybody second that? Up, Mr. Arnoff does second it. And I'm opening it up for discussion. Going once, going twice. No discussion. Mr. Secretary, could you please call it to a vote?
Absolutely. Commissioner Lochte.
Sorry, yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Aronoff.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Lyons.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Sundberg. Thank you. Commissioner Morgan.
Yes.
And Commissioner Rowe.
Yes.
And Commissioner Glover.
Yes.
Thank you all. That motion passes to extend the Racism and Cultural Awareness Ad Hoc Committee to December 31st, 2021.
And just to be a stickler, you'll update that in the form that is in the dashboard, just because I'm that guy.
Because I'm that guy, I'm literally there, and that's now been done.
You are cool. Thank you very much. Okay. So we are done with the homeless committee. No, I'm sorry. There, I'm jumping ahead here. I'm sorry about that. We're done with the next item is the homeless committee, and it's headed by Roe. How are we doing in that area?
I think we decided last month to wait for the wave and put that on hold.
Yes. So let's go ahead and take that off from our next agenda item for next week. I think we made a mistake and put that there. Sorry about that, Commissioner Rowe.
If you're taking it off for July and it is only extended to July 7th, what's going to happen?
Good question. Mr. Glover also had his hand up.
Well, it was the same question.
All right, I think it's like open for discussion.
Are we just letting it, the extension expire and then set it up again when we decide we need it again? Is that what we're trying to do?
I think what we discussed is that we need to have people to do things in order to have committees. And so it's good to have committees, but if we don't have people showing up, and I know Aaron was, and I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth, and so you tell me if I am, but was she was having a hard time getting other people to come with meetings. And so what we-
Actually, it was, let me just clarify, I was having a hard time coordinating people's schedules so that we could meet, and yeah.
so maybe it's just not the right time to talk about that. It's one of those deals, we'll deal with this thing another day. Not that it's not important, but if we don't have the resources to deal with it at this time, we're wasting our, yes, Lyon, Commissioner Mary, go ahead.
Commissioner Lyons, Mary, I understand. What is Aaron, what do you feel the purpose of the committee is moving forward? Is there a reason to extend it? Should we decide to put a motion forward to extend the committee so that we can have it on the agenda each month for the next couple months to talk, to see if a wave happens? Or should we allow the committee to expire? That's a question kind of directly to Aaron. How are you feeling about that?
We don't have anything going on right now, so. Are you
So-
wanting to extend it? Is anyone else wanting to extend it? Is?
No.
Mhm. Mm.
I just don't see
Commissioner
where they're-
Arnoff?
Oh, what I was going to say, Mary, is what we're doing is we were planning on having a forum for homeless services providers.
Commissioner Arnoff, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I think we should extend it. I mean, we're obviously waiting now on the legislature to pass the budget, but I know the homeless piece is going to be a big part of it. So I think we should perhaps, just like the racism committee, extend it to the end of the year, because we're going to be dealing with it one way or the other.
Would you like to
Fair
make
enough.
that motion?
Mr.
Commissioner?
Mr. Glover, you had your hand up real quick?
Well, no, if Guy wants to make that a motion, I'll second it.
Yeah, I'd like,
Please, I would.
All right, we have Mr. Arnold made the motion, and I
I
have,
second.
and Commissioner Lyons seconded. Any discussion on the item going once? No? Are you hiding, Mr. Glover, behind the sheet?
Yes, that's okay.
All right. If there is no discussion, Mr. Secretary, will you please bring it to the roll call? To the vote, excuse me.
Absolutely. Commissioner Lochte,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Aronoff,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyons,
Yes.
Commissioner Sundberg, thank you, Lisa. Commissioner Morgan,
Yes.
Commissioner Glover,
Yes.
and Commissioner Rowe.
I think I'll abstain.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay. And Commissioner Haney, that's a yes.
Aaron, I'd like, how many people are on the committee now, Aaron?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Guy?
Aaron, Desir, Haney, and Aronoff.
Okay. So I liked what you were saying, that you were thinking about doing it. I like that. And Aaron, I understand your frustration.
I'm not
Well,
frustrated.
Aaron, if I were in your shoes, Commissioner Rowe, excuse me, I would put an invitation of the time to meet, maybe 2 or 3, and if people bite, great. If not, you just report, hey, that's what I did. I think that would be a fair way to go about it, so we don't have too much heartburn on the issue.
I think
It's a
that-
very serious important, but go ahead.
I think that I have done that. I have taken that step.
Yes, you have, but I'm saying doing it again. That's what I'm saying. And then if nobody does it, then, because you are the chair, unless you don't want to be the chair, which I think would be very understandable.
Yeah, I think it would be better if someone else was chair.
All right. Who wants to pick up that baton?
Commissioner Aronoff, you wanted to continue it for 6 months. Would you like to take up that baton?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Good job, good job. Thank you, Commissioner Arnoff. Aaron, you're muted, so I can't hear what you're saying.
I know, I talk to myself. I'm muted for a reason.
All right. So we'll change that on the record, and then we voted to extend that, so we got that updated on that sheet. Thank you very much.
Yep, that has been done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other, do we want to talk about this anymore? I'm seeing a lot of nods. Okay, so let's go to the other items, which is, if I'm not mistaken, unfinished business. I really would like if we could have the acknowledgement, the land acknowledgement sheet. If somebody has that, we can share that. Mr. Glover, Secretary, do you have that one? I've given permissions for everybody to share that. If we could put that up there, maybe that would help the discussion.
Sure.
Yeah, take a few seconds there. I have a whole bunch of things open on my computer.
Let me
Not
share
that
my
you don't.
screen here. No
Yep, not that you
problem.
don't. Mr.
No
Glover
worries.
has his hand up.
I just wanted to say I'm now sharing this on the screen, so this is live on the screen, so people know.
Yes. Want to thank Carol Larson for her commentary. I can see that is there. So do we agree? So who wants to take charge of this? Mr. Secretary, I think you were working on this, or am I putting words in your, or am I mistaken here?
No, you're mistaken.
Okay, I'm mistaken. Mr. Glover, I know you worked on this.
Well,
And I think it was Carol Larson that was very involved in this. And somebody else, help me out here.
Lisa.
Lisa,
wanted
Right.
something to do with
Yeah,
it.
I'm so hi. Finally, I am able to chime in. If this is the one with the native piece in it, I'm happy to take over this piece and get this done. If
Okay,
that's what the question is.
that is correct.
Yep.
I think if you look at Lisa, at what the Commissioner Haney is sharing, he's sharing the actual form, and different people have put different comments there.
Okay.
And the question is, do we want to make the changes and vote on this, or do we want to give it another look? So let's open the discussion. And I see somebody's hand up there. Burns, could you please tell us what you have on your mind?
Yeah, I had a question because I brought this up at the very beginning when we were first here, about that I was denied access to view it, not to edit it or anything, but to view it, which is a choice on these Google Docs. And yet I am here, a member of the community. I am not part of the commission, and I am being allowed to look at it in its voted on form. So I'm curious as to what is the difference.
I think you bring up a very good point. I think, and Mr. Secretary, help me out here. I think the difference is that when we have it in the other format, we're working, it's like having an ad hoc committee. Ad hoc committees come up with a report, and then they bring their recommendations. And so that's kind of how we're treating it, that this was something that was done till we figure out how we want to look at it. Now we're presenting it to the public with our changes. But I'm willing to move forward with whatever is the most logical and fair process. And so Lisa, help me out here. Or
yeah, so look, I do believe that, and I have not done this piece of it, and that is talk to my own tribe about it. And I think that there needs to be some of that activity. And if they haven't been chiming in on it, then I believe that that's one of the pieces I wanted to get done, and I haven't done that yet. At least I could help facilitate that, but I want to be in charge of it, and so I can help direct that piece.
Does the commissioners have anything against giving Lisa more time to work on this? And Burns, you have your hand up.
Well, I was going to say, this has been put up for us to look at, and do we want to approve it tonight? And I think what we're saying now is that we don't want to approve it right now. We want it to go back to Lisa. Is that what we're saying?
That is what I'm hearing. Mr. Glover.
As you know, Eddie, I didn't make comments directly to the document that we're looking at here because I thought there were already so many that it was going to make it more confusing. So I offered you an outsider's view, if you want to call it that, presentation. I hope you would share that with Lisa so that she could consider it along with the document she has, so that you could see if I'm on the right track or if I'm on the wrong track.
Fair enough. I personally like having all the comments on the side because I think it's more transparent. And to answer Carpina Burns' question, we're moving this back to a subcommittee, and so we will present it again. But if you want to have what we have currently here sent to you, you're more than welcome to have it because we've presented to the public. But I think we should give it to Lisa and her committee there. If she has anybody to make this document better or to improve or whatever word we want to pick. If the commissioner,
I don't think it's going to need, I don't think it's going to need that much, but I just want to swing it by a couple more people that in the native with the different tribes. And there's just a handful of them. And I have just not had time to do it. Sorry.
All right. And please pay attention to the comments because I know other people put thought in things like that. So I see Bird has their comments. I see Carol has a bunch of comments. Yes, somebody had their hand up.
And I think, I know Carpani has her hand up. I just wanted to say that Carpani, now this is a draft that has been presented. It is not approved. So it is not yet a public document that we have approved. It is just a draft. So if you share it with anyone, that has to be made very clear that this is not what we're saying yet.
Yes, and that's why I like having the document with the comments, because that makes that more true, that we have the red comments and everything like that. All right.
So may I speak?
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I understand, Bird, that makes total sense to me. What I'm wondering is that if my presence here in the meeting, I am allowed to discuss it with you, then it says draft at the top there. So is there a problem with me or anyone else seeing it before the meeting so we can read it and have an idea what it is so that we know what we're discussing when we're present within the meeting? Because to wait until it comes up on the screen, I have to get very close to read it. I have to depart myself from the conversation that's going on in order to read it and formulate my own ideas about it, to discuss it. It doesn't work to have to wait till the meeting to look at it.
I think you've made a good point, Mr. Secretary. Would you be opposed sharing with this document? And is anybody opposed to that idea? And Commissioner Lyon, you have your hand up.
So other commissioners, help me understand, normally wouldn't this be in a committee and we would present the final draft?
Yes.
At a public meeting? We wouldn't be presenting the drafts, we'd be presenting the final draft to be voted on. So I'm not sure if normally it would be presented in this format, unfinished, for the public to see. But if I'm wrong, let me know. But normally wouldn't it be, is the draft ready? If it's not ready, without it being up like this with all the redlining? I'm confused. Jim.
Mr. Glover.
Well, I think, no, Mary, I think you're absolutely right. We're trying to do committee work in the commission as a whole. And to address Carpani's concern, yeah, I can't read it either, to tell you the truth. But the general procedure is that once something is presented to the commission for consideration, hopefully in somewhat of a finished form, then the commission has its discussion, and before any vote takes place, the public definitely has an opportunity to make a comment about it, or several. But but the basic discussion is amongst the commissioners. Meg has her hand up.
So I guess my question would be, at what level is the Human Rights Commission, as currently constructed, comfortable with the public knowing and being transparent with the public about how these things come to be? Because I can tell you, I'm involved in 15, 20 meetings, a month at the very least. And having just be able to look at something at the last minute and make intelligent comments, or hopefully passionate and intelligent comments. It just isn't that easy. And I've attended at least 3 workshops on, land acknowledgements. There is a wealth of information, and there is a wealth of resources in our community about this. And I frankly want to know that that has happened, that those efforts have taken place to get to a place where we're not talking necessarily about American, questioning whether it's going to be American Indian or Native American or First Peoples, that those things have happened in a way that is both respectful and then ends up in a document that then the public has some knowledge of, that, it isn't just going pro forma. Okay, we got our land acknowledgement. That's the very first thing that HSU head of the Native American Studies, the professor, just why are you doing this and how do you arrive at what you say? So
Thank you.
I really am concerned. Thank you.
Commissioner Lyon.
I think the entire discussion is pointing to the fact.
You're muted, Commissioner Lyon.
I apologize. I think that the discussion is that we're going to move this agenda item forward to next month so that Lisa Sundberg, our commissioner, has a chance to take it back to her tribe, or several of the tribes, have them look it over and see how they feel about the wording, and then possibly bring it back for consideration next month. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, and I think, Bert, correct me if I'm wrong here. According to the Robert Rules of Order, a lot of times before you make a vote, you have to give it 30 days for the next time to vote. That's a very common. No, okay.
That is for amendments to our bylaws.
Okay.
But I think, to be very clear, this was discussed several times in committee before it came here last month, and was asked to put it off for another month. We're doing that again now. But what has been put forward to us was what we thought was going to be voted on. I would like to ask that when the agenda goes out, that it is not a link to anything, but it is a PDF that goes with the agenda, which is the exact wording that is being put forth for us to vote on. It doesn't mean that we can't change some of that wording as we discuss it, but it means that everyone who gets the agenda gets exactly the same thing in a way that they cannot change it. It is just what is being put forward for this commission to decide on.
Does the secretary oppose to that idea of putting in a PDF?
I'm not opposed to that at all. I just wanted to add that based on my understanding of what Bird just said, that's, unless I'm wrong, that would not be addressing the public getting access to it, because only commissioners would be receiving that PDF.
No.
You mean you cannot put a PDF on the attached to the agenda?
Oh, I see. You're saying just add that as a
Yeah.
page in addition to the agenda.
Yes.
That can be done. Sorry for my misunderstanding. That can be done, absolutely.
Thank you.
I think, okay, Larry.
Quickly, and I'm sorry, maybe this is, I apologize, but I'm not quite clear how we are going to utilize this land acknowledgement. What, can somebody explain? It's going to be on our agendas, is going to be written, spoken, and, you know, at the start of every meeting? Are we going to be putting it, you know, obviously.
I think we get the question. Mr. Glover, do you have an answer for that, or you have another
Well,
question?
I have a suggestion that that's part of what the committee, I don't know who's on this committee other than Lisa, but whoever is on the committee, that should be part of their proposal. What we do with the statement. You have the statement, and then you also have, how do you present it?
All right, so that'll be, Lisa, did you get that? Will you have that as part of your presentation of how this document will work? Even though I think we've kind of not gone exactly through the Robert Rules of Order, putting this on a ad hoc committee, but I think we're asking you to work on it for now. We're handing you over the baton. On
Can
this.
you say that? What can you say?
The question on the table right now is that the commissioners want to know how the document will be used. Will we read it at the beginning of the meeting? Will it just be part of the document?
What was the question though?
That was the question.
That was the question.
Question is, how would you recommend that we use it?
There you go. Thank you.
The question.
Can you say?
All
We
right.
can't understand you, Lisa.
I am on the road in my
Lisa, my dear, we can't understand you, honey. We can't understand you, Lisa.
All right. We're having technical difficulties.
I just dipped out there for a second. It shorted out. Can you look at that? Oh no. Well, I gotta take my grandson.
Yes, Mr. Glover, you had your hand up there.
I would suggest that we move on and
I
have
agree with
Lisa,
that.
if we have to send her an email telling her what the question was, let's do that, but we're
Let's
not
do that.
making any progress here.
No, we're not. Okay, but I think we do agree, and I want to say is that we will have Lisa work on it, and that she will bring recommendations for our next meeting. Are we all in cahoots in that? Yes, Commissioner Lyons.
I would like to see it come to a vote next month because we put it off several months, like Bird said. So I will reach out to Lisa myself and talk with her and facilitate her any way that I can so that she can bring this forward to her tribe.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, it is 6:46. I am going to move on to the next topic, if that's okay with you. This is really important. Voting of new commissioners. Our secretary that's traditionally takes charge of that. How are we looking on that? And do we want to do a vote tonight, which I think we're supposed to?
Yes, we do.
Let the secretary speak, and then I'll have everybody else speak.
Haven't we normally voted where it was like we filled things out and then the secretary counted them? How will we do a vote that is not a public vote? That's my question. Because normally we voted without raising hands, correctly? We wrote some. I don't know.
So if I was to, and please, Jim or Eddie, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm completely new to this process. But what I was told was that we would be locking down during this meeting the nominations, and then Jim's saying no. So I don't want to say anything wrong and go forward and down the wrong path.
Well, the rest of what you might say would be right, but this is the evening that we're supposed to have the vote. And the new officers take office July 1st.
Okay. All right. So I think, you know, and I'll take responsibility to that. So
And like I said, I'm completely new to this process. What I could do right now, if it's appropriate, is I could let everyone know the nominations that I've received thus far. Is that appropriate or is that inappropriate?
That's very
That's fine.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay. I received, and so am I supposed to say who nominated this person for this
Nope.
position? No.
Just say who
Thank
the
you.
nominees are.
Thank you. So I have Aaron Rowe nominated for vice chair. I have Marianne Lyons nominated for chair. And I have David Haney nominated as secretary. That's all that I have so far.
The decision is easy. Were we not supposed to be, this was it, so all nominations should have be in by now, right?
Yes, correct. They still can, people can still self-nominate, or they can, other people could still make nominations tonight too, but not past tonight.
And the nominees that have been mentioned, have they been contacted to ask if they are willing to serve?
That was supposed to be done before they were nominated. They should all have agreed.
Okay.
And
If they've all agreed, then can we just close the nomination at this point?
Lisa, we're having a hard time hearing you.
I think I heard you, Lisa, and I'm hoping the answer is yes.
What was the question?
Are we going to be voting on these people, or we still have to have space for any other nominations? Is I think where we're at, right?
I think as chair, I would like to see if anybody else wants to nominate somebody or themselves tonight, and then we go ahead and move with a vote, if that's okay. Go ahead, Bird.
I just want to ask our current chair if he was willing to stay on as chair for another year.
As I stated, unless there's a replacement, I will stay as chair. But if there's somebody that gets more votes, that's so there's been somebody that's gone for it, so I'm fine with that.
Well, I think then you should be nominated so that people have a choice. So
Fair
I
enough.
nominate you for chair.
Thank you.
I second that.
Mr. Secretary, if you feel comfortable at this point, I think there was a discussion of keeping it the ballot, what's the word I'm looking for? Anonymous? Yes, Mary. Commissioner Lyons.
Is this something that we would normally do publicly? I think so,
No.
correct?
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, there's no,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
we're all big.
I mean, having people, yeah, I have no problem with it, yeah.
Yeah, they do this, if you go to the Board of Supervisors, they do it publicly, they vote in public. Everybody else does it in public, and we're all adults here. So, Mr. Glover.
What is the intention of regarding treasurer?
Oh, good point. We have a
I'm
treasurer,
the
yes.
current treasurer. Can I nominate Bird to be treasurer again?
no,
No,
But-
okay, I won't.
I would like to nominate Jim as treasurer.
I can't, I would, but I can't run.
You can't run. Okay.
No, because if he could have run, I would have already nominated him to be the board president. I already told him that. I was like, I want to nominate you. He said he had to be on the board longer, darn
No,
it.
our bylaws just got changed to require that.
Guy,
the new
Guy,
person
would
be on
you
6 months.
be willing to be treasurer?
Sure.
I nominate Guy for treasurer.
Fair enough.
Can I?
Yes, Larry.
Now, so can we also nominate Mary? Because if, Eddie stays on his chair, then, she's done such a great job that, so I would
And-
nominate her as well.
And
As long
Eddie
as
was
it's- As long
I
as the
thought-
secretary has everybody straight, we can nominate anybody to whatever position.
I was under the impression you didn't want to be the board president, board chair. It was my understanding you didn't want the position for a year, Eddie, in conversation.
What I said is that I was looking for some other people that may have not been on the committee for as long as they have to step up. And so that's kind of where I'm standing. So I was nominated by somebody else. I'm willing to accept it.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think that all I'm saying is me personally, I thought that you didn't want to, that you wanted it temporarily, I'm just saying. So I think that that was part of the impetus for whoever nominated me.
I think, and I'll be very honest here and open, I was looking for a little bit more diversity. That is where I stand.
I also, by the way, if anyone wants to be vice chair, I'm very happy to step aside.
Megan, I'm a little, I see your hand up. So if you want to make a public comment, you're welcome to do so. Yes.
It's a very quick question because I thought it was related, but I'm seeing it's not. I understood that people can apply to be appointed by their supervisor to become a member of the Human Rights Commission. I did that several months ago and have heard absolutely nothing, despite having followed up with my supervisor a couple of times. A girl could get hurt thinking that maybe I wasn't wanted, but I'm a big girl. I just wonder, when it said new commissioners, is there a time that happens, or can that happen at any time? Should I give up hope and just keep attending this wonderful meeting for other reasons, or what?
Real quick, Commissioner, Secretary, we haven't got any mail of new commissioners being accepted to our group. Okay, go ahead. Erin.
I want to respond. I have a friend who's also applied probably a year ago and has called the supervisors and hasn't heard anything back either, just to let you know.
Oh, thank you. Don't take it personally then. Thank you.
Meg, can I make a comment? Meg, I just want to let you know that as a general rule, the commission itself is not involved in the process of appointing people to the commission. So it's more often than not, it's a surprise to us who joins us and who doesn't.
Thank you.
Can I get in here, jump in here, Eddie?
Yes, I'm sorry, Larry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I've always encouraged people when they apply, to a specific supervisor to really, you got to kind of beat down their door, quite frankly, sometimes. And if we need to, when you're applying, you need to know whether that particular supervisor has vacancies, because each of the supervisors have 3 appointees to the commission. Some of those supervisors have their vacancies filled, so that may be the reason you're not hearing back.
Thank you. No, I know that there are 2 openings, and as you may guess, I know how to beat down people's doors.
I get friends to start calling your supervisor.
Erin, you have your hand up.
It was up before she left. She probably.
Okay, I think we're at a point here. Do we want to go? Commissioner Einoff, you look a little anxious there. Are you good? We want to move forward?
I just wanted to move us to close nominations. How's that?
Fair enough.
Good move.
All right. Okay. Secretary, Mr. Secretary, you take it from here.
All right, are we doing the actual voting on each position at this point?
Yes, I
Yes.
would go ahead and announce who's on the chopping block there, or who's being nominated. And then we'd call the vote. That's, I think, how
Okay.
it should go.
All right. If I do anything wrong, just let me know. Feel free to interrupt me. So right now, it seemed like we're voting on the chair for the Human Rights Commission. The two commissioners that have been nominated are Mary Ann Lyons and Eddie Morgan. Shall I go commissioner by commissioner and get a name is how I should proceed, Eddie?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. All right. Commissioner Lochte.
You're on mute.
Sorry, Morgan.
Thank you. Commissioner Glover.
Lyons.
Do I have Eddie vote?
Yes.
Yes, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep.
Eddie, Mr. Chair, your vote.
I will abstain.
Commissioner Rowe.
You're muted. Muted.
I know, I'm beating up my computer. It won't unmute. Morgan. Although
Thank
both
you.
were great, of course.
Commissioner Aronoff.
Go with Lyons, excuse me.
Myself, Commissioner Haney, I'm voting for Commissioner Lyons. Commissioner Sundberg.
What are the, sorry, I had to give somebody a ride. So who are my options here?
Your choices for the chair are Eddie Morgan and Mary Ann Lyons.
I vote for Eddie.
Commissioner, let's see, who am I missing? Commissioner Miller.
I vote for them both.
You can't do that.
Do that.
I think I like to see have Mary give it a shot. So I vote for Mary. That's a very hard decision. Eddie, I appreciate your work. I do.
I think, unless I'm wrong, I've gotten votes from all the, Commissioner Lyons.
Guess I'll vote for me. Although I might be crazy.
You are.
What, should I tally the votes right now, or do I wait till all the positions have
No,
been
no.
voted on?
Did
Go
you
ahead and
vote? Did you vote?
Yes, and I voted for Commissioner Lyons.
Very nice.
Should I tally this one up here?
Yes, that way you can close the matter.
Thank you. I've got 3 votes for Commissioner Morgan, and I've got 5 votes for Commissioner Lyons and 1 abstain.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Giving it back to you next year, Jim.
We'll see.
All right, I'll start the vote for the vice. Is there a need to vote for the vice chair? There was only 1 nominee.
You should still vote.
Yeah, let's still vote, but you could do it. You could do us all.
We do it
together.
by acclamation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, then
I move we vote for Aaron Rowe as vice chair by acclamation.
I
Second.
second it.
Second, third, fourth.
That's for everybody's hand.
all right. Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron Rowe is now the new vice chair.
Thank you.
And shall we do a similar process for the secretary? There was only 1 nominee, myself for the secretary. Jim?
I think we
I
should.
suggest we vote by acclamation for Dave Haney.
A
I
second.
second it.
Second.
Perfect. All right. Thank you all. And one more, treasurer. We have Commissioner Aronoff listed. Did Larry chime in with another nomination for treasurer? Did I hear, or am I wrong with that?
No, he
It
did.
was only if Mary didn't get president, elected chair.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
I move we elect Guy as treasurer by acclamation.
Thank you.
Make sure those are all in the minutes so we can do the whole process of the bank again.
That's
I'll
right.
explain it all to you in a meeting.
Perfect. Congratulations, Commissioner Aronoff. You're now the treasurer of the Human Rights Commission.
Congratulations. Good job.
I promise not to go to Cancun.
You wouldn't get very far.
You might get to Fields Landing.
If I could just take a moment to say thank you guys for your trust in me. I feel a little teary-eyed. Eddie, I'm going to lean on you. Jim, I already lean on you. I look forward to our team effort. I think that we complement each other really well. And I look forward to getting to know the newer commissioners. And as I've spoken with a few other people about being able to somehow or another find a way for us to be cohesive in these odd times. And I do hope that we're all in the same room again together sooner than later in our lives.
Good job, Mr. Glover.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. And I consider Eddie to be a good friend, and I know that this was a close vote. I hope that, Eddie, you'll see this as an opportunity for relief.
No, I already feel the pressure.
Good. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for your efforts over the last few months to pull us through things.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job, Eddie.
Thank you. With that said, okay, Larry.
And you still are chief head of technology, right?
Unfortunately, but even though, you know, this, yes, I am. I'll be more than happy to help, but you know, the secretary, he's really good. He's very good at that stuff that he does. I've seen what he does, so he's good. So, but yes, I will not abscond any of my duties. So I'll make some more graphs. Okay, so thank you for doing that. I really feel good about that. We have two more items and I really wish we could kind of go. Would it be okay with the committee if I jump to new business? Would anybody be totally frustrated with that? Because the other two items we have is further consideration of website for human rights survey and the cannabis inquiry. Aaron, I will leave that to you because those two kind of fall under you.
Sure.
Can we leave that to another meeting or?
It's kind of been dragging along, and Lelania finally got this proposal over to us. Can we have a little discussion to see how we're going?
Yes, or maybe the new commissioner and the new chair would want to bring that to the front so they don't do the same thing I did. But go ahead. Yes, Aaron.
Well, I was going to ask Mary Ann if you're willing to give people like a quick update about what this project was and what we need to do next.
We did a human rights survey was put together looking at human rights in regards to cannabis and whatever that means to people in our community. We were able to gather some statistics. They were given to UC Berkeley to look at a little bit, and they came back to us. I do know that I've had a couple conversations about the proposal that Lelania sent us, and also, which I'm not sure if everybody got to read or not, and if everyone didn't get to read, I would push it forward to the next agenda, next meeting at this point, because I don't know if it was shared with all commissioners. I do know that I had a conversation with David Haney, for example, and he had not seen the letter until just 2 days ago. So I don't know if our commissioners had time to formulate an opinion about it. But one thing that came out of that is that we have not taken into consideration human rights as a whole in Humboldt County. And so while we have put together a questionnaire or a survey for human rights in regards to cannabis, in my conversations, it seemed to me that we have not created a human rights survey about human rights as a whole that encompasses all aspects of the community. So that's kind of the conversations that were given to me when I discussed Lelania's. So go ahead, Erin, go ahead.
Okay, so I would just follow up that she put in this offer, she's put out a survey, she's put the survey data, sent it to UC Berkeley, and I think they're going to do something with it. And then we are supposed to make based on the recommendations in those reports, we're supposed to make a suggestion to the Board of Supervisors. Lelania is an expert in this. Literally, her whole life has been here. This is her profession. And the letter is requesting that we hire her, the commission hire her as a consultant, not paid, as a volunteer consultant to finish up this project. So that's what it's going to be about.
So has every commissioner read her request? Jim, you did, David, you did. Has every other commissioner seen her request? Because she's requesting that the commission hire her. Do we normally hire outside consultants? Even if it's for free? Bird?
When was this letter sent to other commissioners? Because I don't remember getting anything.
No, I don't.
Exactly.
It was not.
It was not. And in conversations when I was discussing it, I discovered that our secretary had not received it. So it didn't go through the channels to have all of our commissioners be able to look at it. So we can't vote on it. We can't discuss it until everybody's seen it. So I would move that we put that, unfortunately, I know, Aaron, I don't want to, but I think that we're going to have to put it to business next month.
No, that sounds right if people didn't get a chance to
I'm
read.
sorry. I didn't realize that other people hadn't seen it until I was, saying, well, and so it was not sent to the entire commission.
It's Lisa. I just have some comments about the whole human right perspective for cannabis, but as it relates to Lelania, whether or not it's a consultant agreement or advisor or something, I don't think it's a bad idea. Based on one of the first conversations that I had with her about joining the Human Rights Commission, is that as a Native person and an advocate and chairman of the Tribal Advisory Committee to the National Institute of Health, I will tell you that I am advocating for tribal sovereignty and plant efficacy and the right to research any active medicinal plant, in that we have access to it without any interference from special interests, and that includes people that have been blocking the approval of any type of these medicines, putting them on schedule so we can't even reach them for research. I think if we don't take a strong position, and I would open it up beyond cannabis, because we're talking psilocybins and other types of modalities, that we as people should have the human right to be able to medicate ourselves. But I will tell you, at the NIH level or even at the research level, my tribal, in order to sit on the NIH board, I have to have a technical advisor. Well, I just happened to have Sue Sicily, who was approached by the veterans, people from the veterans community, begging her to research cannabis so that they could actually get it researched so that it can be approved as a treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder. And they ended up having to sue the DEA because they were only given weed that was grown from the University of Mississippi, which was very, very low grade for this particular study. And so it is now, just so you know, updated on that part. Other organizations are able to grow for research now, but at that time you couldn't. And so all of these blocks, it impacts, because I sit on the board of directors at our clinic as well. And we're only given Suboxone to treat our people to get themselves off of opioids. And without the data that comes from research, Lelania is on to something, and I think it's really, really important. I don't care how we, continue this conversation, but it really is more than just cannabis. It's our right as people to medicate how, whatever works for us. The other part of NIH is they're studying what they call precision medicine. And how do you study precision medicine if you don't include active plant medicine that is, in that? It shouldn't be all just pharmaceutical synthetic stuff. So these are the things that can be addressed with this type of work at our level. And it comes, this is grassroots right here, ground floor. Anyway, thank you. I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Lisa, if I can respond to that. Obviously, that's a huge, important issue, and I agree with you completely. And it's not exactly Lelania's focus. Hers was more on studying the effects of legalization. And I think it's vis-a-vis marginalizing previous farmers and moving in big pharma. That, I think, is what she's kind of looking at in terms of human rights.
Okay, well, then I spoke from a human rights perspective, to argue that, and maybe it can be included what I just shared. So
yeah, I think
and I would like it to.
Sure.
Or maybe another instrument, and I apologize because I haven't seen what, I don't fully understand how this piece that she had added or under the cannabis piece actually works. So if I'm not articulate, I'm not really relating my words to that, I apologize to that. But I do want you to know that from a human rights perspective, cannabis, that's what attracted me to come to the board. And it was really, and I thought that that's what her initiative was about. So if it's not about that, then I would like what I just said to be about that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure
Or have its own category. Yeah, maybe. Go ahead.
It's included.
Okay. Great.
If I was to just give a quick chime in, I agree with Lisa. I'm coming from a human rights perspective, and I've talked to people in this community, and I get that there are multiple pieces to the puzzle, but I think that there are much worse abuses happening in this county compared to permitting issues around cannabis. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
The only thing, if I can just finish, the only thing I have to say about the permitting, if it goes into that, I mean, it definitely has to be looked at, but making it reachable for people, the green dollar is such a huge part of our economy that if we don't make it reachable for the layperson who doesn't have the resources, big pharma has, will level, this kind of community. So it's important that that the human rights of people to participate in the I don't know if it's a human right, but we certainly need to be able to participate in the economy and not have, a big organization basically take over and not allow, because it's important to an economy that, farmers, local people are able to participate in it. So I think that those things need to be taken into consideration. We know big pharma's out there. We know they're loaded with money and the research and the data and blah, blah, blah. And they've been doing research overseas, not here in the United States. But when they come, we don't want our people to be forgotten, the people that, so anyway, thank you.
Lisa, I was going to volunteer to be the commission liaison with Lelania, but it sounds like you are more interested and knowledgeable about this. I don't know if that interests you. If we approve her project, to following up, I wonder if you'd be open to being the liaison.
I love it. Love to. I don't want to do much more than that. I'm at my bandwidth as it is right now, but I do want to chime in on really key issues. And I apologize for taking so long on this other piece, but there's legal things I have to think of, and I need more thought instead of just pushing something through. And I'm juggling a lot, but it's important. So thank you. Appreciate that. The
Jim, I see
grace.
your hand. I see your hands up.
I don't know
Jim.
who's in charge at the moment.
Yeah, I
Um,
think your hand's up, but I think that we really want to just move this to next month's agenda so we can send the proposal out to everybody and have that discussion next month. I feel like that's the point we're at, but Jim, I want to hear
And
from you.
I agree with that. I think I want to plant this seed in everybody's mind. We're talking about a contractual arrangement for this to move forward. I'm not sure what this is in many respects, but we have a database of 93 survey results. 93 out of a population of 135,000 people. I hope that we've got a statistically worthwhile number of answers to submit to UC Berkeley. I'm not sure we do, but we can have that conversation next month. I just didn't know if everybody was aware of that.
So I know we're, so where are we at? Where do we want to go move forward? I think what I'm hearing is that, go ahead, Bird.
That we will all get a copy of the letter, proposal, whatever it is, and that it will be on next month's agenda.
Okay. I think we have an agreement here. Anybody disagree? I think we'll move to our next item. Just for the record, it is 7:18. And the Commissioner Aronoff put SB 368. Could you tell us under new business what that's about?
At this point, it's kind of moot. It's in the suspense file with the legislature. So as we're running pretty late as it is right now, we could probably put this off. I don't know what's going to happen now with the legislature, whether it's going to actually go for a vote or whether Gavin Newsom's new budget's going to be including that money or not. So
Could
let's
you
hold
just
on.
give us a very brief explanation of what it is?
Well, I did send you guys all a PDF, and just in brief, it's essentially just to provide money for school meals and really not have any, category of whether who needs there. Just essentially provide it for everybody.
I did not get anything from you unless you sent it after 4:30.
I sent it again, part of the chat, so I don't know if you guys saw it.
I haven't seen it either.
No.
He sent it in the chat box, but
Oh, I don't look at that.
Commissioner, I'm a teacher, and we were very blessed this year because the state of California decided to feed every child under 18 years old, whether they were students or not students. So I had many students coming and picking up bags of food that could last a whole week for their families, and it made a huge difference. I advocate very strongly for that. So I appreciate you bringing it forward to us, because I do believe very strongly that it is a human right that our children be fed. And I don't think that parents should be sent bills when they can't afford to pay for their students to be fed. So I am hoping very strongly that they carry forward exactly what they've done this year during the pandemic and allow all children under 18 years old to be able to acquire food from local schools of other places. And schools have really stepped up and provided food even when they were closed. So I'm hoping that, and I do agree very strongly with you. So I did read it, and I advocate for it as well.
Yeah, I will update you, what I hear, but I know, like I said, the last I saw, they put it in the suspense file, and of course it could go at the last minute or, be pushed off until next year. We'll see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. It was a pleasure. Lisa, you still have your hand up. I don't know if that's intentional. Commissioner Sundberg. With that said, yes, Bird.
We had the future agenda items, and we were going to see about the issue that was brought up about the elected official.
Why am I not tracking?
I've got
At the beginning of this meeting hours ago.
Auditor controller.
Oh,
I've got 2 items for future agenda items: monitoring the Board of Supervisors situation concerning actions with Karen Paz Dominguez and the cannabis inquiry.
Right.
It's Lisa, and I'd also, I probably didn't know when to chime in when we talked, so I apologize, but I did want to have that discussion about the concern about the homelessness and the housing crisis that's going to hit the county. And I don't know if that's in our purview, but it certainly is, people that are going to be struggling, and just, I don't know what we can do, but I think it's good to be aware of it. I mean, the students are going to be affected too, because they rented all those apartments out. And the rents just jacked up. So I don't know what role we would play in that. I'm just throwing that out there. So you guys tell me, because I'm not sure.
So what are we saying here? Are we putting that on the agenda? I mean,
Is it something that is in our purview? I mean, I just, want to make us aware of it, and then you guys tell me whether or not it's something that is in our purview.
Mr. Glover has his hand up.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't we extend the homelessness committee
That is correct.
to the end of the year? So that would cover what Lisa is asking.
So I would just drop it into
Getting
that
thumbs up
subcommittee.
here, Lisa. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Great. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much. It's 7:23. I bet everybody's ready to go. Anybody opposed for us to finish this meeting? And congratulations, Mary. I think I'm very happy that you won.
Before we adjourn, I'd like to thank you for stepping in at a crisis moment, Eddie, and being
Not a
here
problem.
for us.
And I also want to congratulate the other people that got being the treasurer is very important, and being the vice is very important, because you might have to step in, Aaron. So it's important. Thank you. I can't say how much I appreciate the secretary. So thank you, sir. It's a pleasure. All right, to everybody, have a great day, and
We're out of here. Good work,
Thank you,
Eddie.
Eddie. Good job, Eddie.
All right, have a good one. Bye.
Good job, Eddie. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.